In the presidential election of 1876, Hayes's Democratic opponent, Samuel Tilden, won the popular vote and led in the Electoral College, 184 to 166. However, 19 votes remained uncertain after the counting of the ballots. Returns from 3 Republican-controlled states in the South, Louisiana, Florida, and South Carolina, were in dispute, and one of Oregon's votes was also being challenged. In the 3 southern states, the elections had been plagued by violence and chicanery. White thugs had stuffed or stolen ballot boxes, intimidated black voters, and printed Democratic ballots with the Republican symbol to trick illiterate voters. Republican-controlled state returning boards, empowered to throw out votes from districts where fraud and violence skewed the results, invalidated returns from key counties and parishes. The result was a Hayes victory in all 3 states. Democrats cried foul and threatened rebellion if Tilden's alleged victory was stolen from him. In all 4 states, Republican and Democratic electors met, voted, and forwarded conflicting returns to Washington. Determining who had won legitimately in those states was crucial, for if all 4 states came in for Hayes, he would win by 1 electoral vote. The Constitution provided little guidance on how to proceed. The 12th Amendment, added in 1804, required that the votes of the Electoral College be directed to the President of the Senate, who shall, in the presence of the Senate and House of Representatives, open all the certificates, and the votes shall be counted. Yet it did not delineate what to do about contested electoral votes. Republicans argued that the President of the Senate, a Republican, should decide which votes were legitimate. Democrats demanded that the House of Representatives, which they controlled, should have a say. The debate quickly degenerated into a fierce partisan battle. As passions flared, some Southern Democrats threatened a second civil war if Tilden were not declared the winner. "Tilden or blood," they shouted. As calls for a new Southern uprising increased, the outgoing president, Ulysses S. Grant, stationed troops throughout the capital. In an effort to end this constitutional crisis, Congress appointed an electoral commission in January 1877. The group consisted of 10 congressmen and 4 Supreme Court justices, all 14 members evenly divided by political affiliation, to resolve the disputed Hayes-Tilden election. The 4 justices had the added task of picking a 15th, potentially tie-breaking member of the commission from among their fellow justices. They chose Joseph Bradley, a Grant appointee, whom many considered the court's most open-minded member. Bradley's selection gave Republicans a bare majority on the commission, and much to the Democrats' dismay, he remained loyal to his party. As the commission began its work, Bradley sometimes voted with the Democrats on procedural matters, but his critical votes favored Hayes. In 3 8-7 votes, the commission chose to accept, without evidentiary hearings, the results that the Republican governors and secretaries of state in Florida, Louisiana, and South Carolina had certified. The members of the commission voted strictly along partisan lines. Hayes was thus declared the winner with only days to spare before the inauguration. Outraged House Democrats threatened to obstruct, with motions to adjourn and other filibuster measures, the congressional vote needed to certify the commission-sanctioned electoral tally. If the March 5th inauguration day arrived, and Hayes had not officially gained the presidency, they strategized, it would be another major blow to the public's perception of his legitimacy. Some Democrats planned to assert that under Article 2, Section 1 of the Constitution, the House could unilaterally elect Tilden, since neither candidate would have received a majority of electoral votes by the prescribed deadline of March 4th. Republicans, in turn, intended to insist that under the 12th Amendment, the President of the Senate had sole authority to count votes and resolve disputes. Rumors swirled that President Grant, embracing the Republican position, would use the military to ensure Hayes's inauguration. To avoid those unsavory possibilities and end the crisis, 4 Southern Democrats met with 5 Ohio Republicans who had close ties to Hayes in an effort to find a compromise. Backroom negotiation between Hayes's lieutenants and key Southerners had been ongoing. Now they met with the inauguration less than a week away to finalize the